all devotees. Now we start today's Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrutam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tata Jayam Udirayat Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1st, Chapter 8, Prayers by Queen Kunti. We try to understand shloka number 56 and 47. व्यास आद्य ईश्वर इह नेहि.
व्यास आद्य है ईश्वरे अहनिहि.
कृष्णेन अद्भुत कर्मणा.
कृष्णेन अद्भुत कर्मणा.
प्रबोधित अपि इतिहासैः.
प्रबोधितः इति आसैः.
अपि इतिहासैः स अनुबध्येत शुचार्पितः.
सः अनुबध्यत शुचार्पितः.
न अनुबध्येत. आह राजा धर्मसुतः.
आह राजा धर्मसुतः.
चिन्तयन् सुहृदां वदम्.
चिन्तयन् सुहृदावधम्.
प्राकृतेन आत्मना विप्राः.
प्राकृतेन आत्मना विप्राः.
स्नेह मोहवशगतः.
स्नेह मोहवशगतः.
व्यास आद्यै ईश्वर इह नेहि.
व्यास आद्यैः ईश्वर इह अग्नैः.
कृष्णेन अद्भुत कर्मणा.
कृष्णेन अद्भुत कर्मणा.
प्रबोधित अपि इतिहासैः.
प्रबोधित इति अपि हासैः.
अपि इतिहासैः
अपि
न
इति
अनुबध्येत
हासैः.
शुचार्पितः.
न अबध्येत शुचार्पितः.
न अनु आह राजा धर्मसुतः.
आह राजा धर्मसुतः.
चिन्तयन् सुहृदां वदम्.
चिन्तयन् सुहृदां वधम्.
प्राकृतेन आत्मना विप्राः.
प्राकृतेन आत्मना विप्राः.
स्नेह मोहवशगतः.
स्नेह मोहवशगतः.
व्यास आद्यैः.
व्यास
I am reading
आद्यैः.
व्यास ईश्वर इह.
ईश्वर इह.
इह अग्ने अग्ने नहीं नहीं ओनली नहीं. अग्ने and नहीं both are different opposite meaning.
ओ सॉरी माताजी.
कृष्णेन अद्भुत कर्मणा.
कृष्णेन अद्भुत कर्मणा.
प्रबोधितः.
प्रबोधितः.
अपि
अपि
इतिहासैः
इतिहासैः.
न
न
अबुध्यत्.
अबुध्यत्.
अबुध्यत्
अबुध्यत्.
शुचा अर्पितः.
शुचा
शुचा
अर्पितः.
आह राजा
आह राजा
धर्मसुतः
धर्मसूतः
चिन्तयन्
चिन्तयन्
सुहृदां
सुहृदां
पदं
वधम्
प्राकृतेन
प्राकृतेन
आत्मना
आत्मना
विप्राः
विप्राः
स्नेह
स्नेहमोह
मोह
मोह
वशगतः
वासां गतः वशं गतः
वशगतः व्यास आदि ईश्वर इहाज्ञेहि कृष्णेन अद्भुत कर्मणा प्रबोधितपीतिहासैः न अबुद्धैत शुचार्पितः आह राजा धर्मसुतः चिन्तयन् सुहृदां वदम् प्राकृतेन आत्मना विप्राः स्नेहमोवशतः. Please read.
व्यास आद्यैः ईश्वरैः अग्नैः इह ज्ञैः कृष्णेन अद्भुतकर्मणा प्रबोधिता अपि इतिहासैः न अबुध्यत शुच अर्पिता अतः आह राजा धर्मसूतः चिन्तयन् सुहृदां वदम् प्राकृतेन आत्मना विप्राः स्नेहमोहवशं गतः.
Ashish Prabhuji, please read.
व्यासादे ईश्वरे एह अग्नैः कृष्णेन अद्भुत कर्मणा प्रबोधितो अपीतिहासैः न बुध्यता शुचार्पिताः आह राजा धर्मसुताः चिन्तयन् सुहृदं वदम् प्रकृतेन आत्मना विप्राः स्नेह मोह वशं गतः. हरे कृष्ण.
Hare Krishna. Kripa में सीता माता जी, please read.
माता जी व्यास आदि ईश्वर इह न्याये कृष्णेन अद्भुत कर्मणा प्रबोधिता अपि इतिहास न अद्भुत सुच अर्पितः अह राजा धर्मसुतः चिन्तयन् सुहृदं वदम् प्राकृतेन आत्मना विप्राः स्नेहमोह वशगतः. Thank you, Mataji.
Recording in progress.
Translation and purport by the Srila Prabhupada. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. King Yudhiṣṭhira, who was much aggrieved, could not be convinced despite instructions by great sages headed by Vyasa and the Lord Kṛṣṇa himself, the performer of superhuman feats, and despite all historical evidence. King Yudhiṣṭhira, son of Dharma, overwhelmed by the death of his friend, was aggrieved just like a common materialistic man. O sage, deluded by affection, he began to speak. Purport by the Srila Prabhupada. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The pious king Yudhiṣṭhira was mortified because of the massacre of human beings in the battle of Kurukṣetra, especially on his account. Duryodhana was there on the throne and he was doing well in his administration. And in one sense, there was no need of fighting, but on the principle of justice, Yudhiṣṭhira was to replace him. The whole clique of politics centered around this point, and all the kings and residents of the whole world became involved in this fight between rival brothers. Lord Kṛṣṇa was also there on the side of King Yudhiṣṭhira. It is said in the Mahabharata Adi Parva 20 that 64 crore men were killed in the 80 days of the Battle of Kurukṣetra, and some hundreds of thousands were missing. Practically, this was the greatest battle in the world within 5,000 years. This mass killing simply to enthrone Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira was too mortifying. So he tried to be convinced with evidence from stories by great sages like Vyas and the Lord himself that the fight was just because the cause was just. Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira would not be satisfied, even though he was instructed by the greatest personalities of the time. Kṛṣṇa was designated herein as the performer of superhuman actions, but in this particular instance, neither he nor Vyas could convince King Yudhiṣṭhira. Does it mean that he failed to be a superhuman actor? No, certainly not. The interpretation is that the Lord is Īśvaraḥ, or the super soul, in the hearts of both King Yudhiṣṭhira and Vyas, performed still more superhuman action because the Lord desired it. As super soul of King Yudhiṣṭhira, he did not allow the king to be convinced by the words of the Vyas and others, including himself, because he desired that the king hear instructions from the dying Bhishmadeva, who was another great devotee of the Lord. The Lord wanted that at the last stage of his material existence, the great warrior Bhishmadev see him personally and see his beloved grandchildren, King Yudhiṣṭhira, etc., now situated on the throne, and thus pass away very peacefully. Bhishma is not at all satisfied to fight against the Pandavas, who were his beloved fatherless grandchildren. But the Kshatriyas are also very stern people, and therefore he was obliged to take the side of Duryodhana because he was maintained at the expense of Duryodhana. Besides this, the Lord also desired that King Yudhiṣthira be pacified by the words of Bhishmadeva, so that the world could see that Bhishmadev excelled all in knowledge, including the Lord himself. King Yudhiṣthira, though he was not expected to become aggrieved like a common man, became deluded by worldly affection by the will of the Lord, just as Arjuna was apparently deluded. A man who sees knows well that the living entity is neither the body nor the mind, but is transcendental to the material conception of life. The common man thinks of violence and non-violence in terms of the body, but that is the kind of delusion. Everyone is duty bound according to one's occupational duties. A Kshatriya is bound to fight for the right cause, regardless of the opposite party. In such discharge of duty, one should not be disturbed by annihilation of the material body, which is only an external race of the living soul. All this was perfectly known to Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira, but the will of the Lord, he became just like a common man because there was a great idea behind this delusion. The king would be instructed by Bhishma as Arjuna was instructed by the Lord himself. Om Agyanati Virandasya Jnananjana चक्षुर्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांच श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजन सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान सगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांच नमो ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात देशतारिणे वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा. We try to understand shloka number 46 and 47 of chapter 8, prayers by Kunti Maharani. Here King Yudhiṣṭhira not aggrieved, he not convinced despite the instruction of great sages, and Krishna Bhagavan himself also try to uh, convince him. But why this is the idea or desire of the Krishna? Because Krishna wants his dearmost devotee Vishmadeva, and who give the instruction to the Yudhishthir Maharaj, and Vishmadev also wanted to see in the dress of the king Yudhishthir and other Pandavas. That is the planning of Krishna, and so this happened, and that this 46 and 47 shlokas Prabhuji will tell in detail. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Mataji. So we are seeing the summarization part. Basically, after Kunti Maharani's prayer, what we are seeing is what happens next and how it is being presented further. So it all starts with very basic aspects, wherein we are understanding that 64 crore people were killed within 18 days in Kurukṣetra. Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira is pious, so he did not like so many persons being killed for making him a king to the throne of the kingdom. So he was angry that for him, so many people have died. So he is very sinfully thought, though he is going to be the king. So at that time, Vyasa Dehi Īśvaraḥ. This word comes in this shloka. So Īśvaraḥ means here it is referring to Kṛṣṇa, because Īśvaraḥ paramaḥ Kṛṣṇa sac-cid-ānanda-vigrahaḥ. So Krishna also tried to convince Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira that whatever happened was his duty, and Battle of Kurukṣetra is dharma-kṣetra, because the fighting was being performed under his superintendence, Dharma-setu, the leader of all religiosity. So under his care, the fighting was going on. But still, Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira was not getting convinced. In the cities, as soon as there is a misunderstanding, then we immediately go to court, civil or criminal, to settle up. And it takes years to settle up the whatever is the fight. So one generation passes another generation, and the fighting is still going on in the court. But if people are Krishna consciousness, it could be settled within few minutes, because they approach a senior devotee, and whatever the senior devotee advises, they accept it. So here Krishna was telling, but still he was not accepting. A very basic fact was being mentioned. Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yavanam jara tatha dehantar prapti dhira tatra na muyati. So dhira word is coming. So dhira means sober and learned person. So Krishna was saying, you are learned, you are dhira, you should not get disturbed. No response. Saintly persons were also advising, Vyasdev. Not only Vyasdev, other big saintly persons. But still, Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj Same thinking that for his personal interest, so many have been killed and he was feeling sorry. Now just contrast this with what happened in India. You divide India, let me become prime minister, that's all. So we know the history that there was proposal for partition and Mahatma Gandhi refused it. Then he said that better I will not have independence, but will not allow the country to be divided. He was stubborn. But the moment he was absent for some work, in the meantime, both the big prime ministers signed it, agreed partition, because they wanted to be the prime minister, one way or the other. Let the country go to hell. But kings, they should not be like this. See, Krishna is trying to convince Yudhiṣṭhira that you are not like that. And in fact, whatever has happened is my plan. Because Krishna comes, paritraya sadhuna vinashache dushkritam. So he wanted to establish the kingdom of representative, and Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira is the right representative. So he had to be enthroned on the kingdom of the whole world. So whatever political heads, executive heads we have, they should be intelligent to understand diplomacy and politics. And the work has to be how people in general are in happiness. But nowadays, political parties simply engage how to keep up their position. All parties, simply they are making plan how to keep their position in government so that they may not be dethroned and other party may not come. The whole time is vested in this only. Nobody is caring. Hundreds and thousands of people are starving, unemployment. But still, the political parties, they are getting their donations, fat salaries. They are satisfied. Bring income tax, divide amongst themselves. That's all. Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira was not that type of thing. Therefore, he is known as Dharmaraj. Yudhiṣṭhira, the most pious king, he was sorry. Prabodhita api was trying to, Kṛṣṇa was trying to pacify Yudhiṣṭhira. Don't be sorry, it is done for the sake of good cause, for establishing dharma-kṣetra. So don't be sorry, but still Yudhiṣṭhira could not be satisfied. Sucha arpitaha. Suchaha means distress. He was so much distressed with his mind that he could not be satisfied at all. And in that stage, we come to the next shloka where we are learning about sneha, affection, love, moha, illusion. So here prakritena comes. Prakritena means on the bodily conception of life. So actually sneha is different. There are affection in different stages. And it's not only human beings. Everyone is thinking. Even the lower animals, they are also thinking of giving protection to the children. This affection for children, for wife, for family members increases. Then it goes to the society level, country, whole human society. There are so many persons who have given their complete whatever wealth they had, the estate, for the benefit of the human society. Many philanthropists, charitably disposed men, they do that. So this affection is there everywhere. Prabhupada ji, when he was talking on this shloka, is also giving the example of his own, how he could see a mother monkey being aggrieved when her child simply went from the window inside and could not come out. And she was agitated till Prabhupada ji pushed that baby monkey out to the mother. So this kind of a moha, this kind of affection is actually moha, illusion. And it has no value. It may be having a value, but it is temporary, punya. Because charity is a pious activity. But if you give charity to Brahmana, then it is proper. Qualified Brahmana, Vaishnava, then your charity is properly utilized. But if the same is given to a drunkard, then we commit sinful activity. We do not know what kind of charities we shall perform. If you blindly give charity, then sometimes we may be doing pious activities, but sometimes we are clearing the way for going to hell. So we have to be very careful. In Bhagavad Gita, if you all remember, there are three kinds of charities which are mentioned. Satvika, Rajasika, Tamsika. So if you perform sattvic charity, then we get good results. Rajasic charity, we get some profit, and tamasic charity, we go to hell. So you have to be very careful even for sneha or charity or philanthropy, because nature's regulation is very strict. We cannot avoid the consequences. That is not possible. And all the consequences are practical. See, Arjuna, it was same thing. Out of affection, he was denying that no, Kṛṣṇa, I shall not fight. There are on the other side my brothers, my nephews, my grandfather, my teacher Dronacharya. All the objects of my affection and obeisances, I'll have to kill them. You're inducing me. No, don't do it. So this is Prakriti. We should not be carried away by this material affection. That is not good. We must do our duty. That is the instruction of Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna, you are being carried away by your material affection. You are hesitating to execute your duty. That is not good. Anarya Justam. This is befitting for the Anarya, the non-Aryans. So similarly, when we are not doing the preaching activities, then actually we are being Anarya. Preaching means to obey the order of the spiritual master or superior authorities and to do good to others. And what is the best good that we can do? Making them aware of who they are. Because everyone is suffering for want of Krishna consciousness. So we have to try to preach them. If we simply become blocked up for deity worship and do not preach, then we remain in the lowest stage. So we need to go out, and preaching, it must be done consciously. A preacher, Prabhupada says, he will see 4 things when he is going out. Īśvare tad adhineshu, balisheshu, vishatsu cha. Īśvara, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. 2, he will see the devotees of Krishna. 3, he will see some ignorant persons. And 4, he will see some envious persons. So if you become preacher, you will be meeting all of them. And for all of them, you have to continue preaching, because for want of Krishna consciousness, they are all suffering. So you should not get involved by the moha, sneha. You should simply do what has been told. How one can be saved from imminent death or repeated death. And that is possible with Krishna consciousness only. Janma karma cha me divyam yev janati tattvataha tyaktva deham punarjanma naeti sa iti ma arjuna. So Krishna says this, that if someone understands his janma karma divyam, whatever is his birth, his activities which are glorious, divyam, yo janati tattvataha, one who understands them, then for him, tyaktva deham punarjanma naeti sa Arjuna, after leaving this body, he will not have to take birth again. So, if you want to really save our children, maybe disciples, our relatives, or anyone whom we love, real affection, then that can be shown when we give him Krishna consciousness, and he will be saved from death. That is the purport of this shloka that we have to understand regarding Yudhiṣṭhira Mahārāja. Mahārāja dharma-sutaha chintan surudam vadam prakritena atmana vipraha sneha moho vasham gataha. Hare Krishna. And that is possible when we chant seriously and completely do manmana bhav madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. So let us take to it very seriously. Thank you very much.